Now in the last video we already saw a way how we can store some data on our general HTTP object. How we could, for example, configure the root route or the root URL of all our requests. That is nice. Sometimes you want to do a bit more than that though. Sometimes you really want to step in on a request and or on a response and intercept it. Now, view resource allows you to set up such interceptors, which are executed upon each request or each response very easily. The place to create such an interceptor is here, where we configure our view instance, or where we start our root view instance and where we added the view resource package. There on the HTTP object again, I can access interceptors, which is an array of functions we want to execute on each request basically. Here we can push a new interceptor on this array. All interceptors in this array will be executed. And there the function has the following structure. It gets the request and it gets a second argument, which I will call next, because this is a function we then can execute to allow the request to continue on. Because most of the time you don't want to let your request end in this function. But in order to allow it to travel on, you need some callback function to execute once you're done doing things with the request. Now in this function, you may do whatever you like. For example, you can print the request, write it to our log, or of course also modify it. You could change the request. You could change the request method to put, for example, here. And let's see what this will do. Let's enhance this a bit. Let's see, we want to check the request method, whether it's post. And if it is post, we want to change it to put. So get requests will still be able to make it through, but post requests will be converted into a put request. And we will also see what this will do on our backend on Firebase. And thereafter, again, we have to execute next. Well, okay, let's see how this will work out. If I now go to the application and reload this, and I create a new user here, and I will open up my console and, whoops, like this, clear it, and hit submit. We see the request was printed here. The request here is of type put because it's an object. So even though we printed before changing it, it is changed here because objects are reference types. And if we have a look at the Firebase console, we see that our data node now changed. It no longer has these cryptic IDs. Instead, we immediately see the email and username here. And if I submit a new user, we now see this got overwritten. So this is the difference between put and post on Firebase. Post creates new resources and appends it to the existing ones, hence the need for a unique identifier, this cryptic string. While put always overrides the old data. That's just a side note on how to use that on Firebase. The cool thing we see here is, though, that we're able to use our own interceptor here, check the request. You will see get requests still work, though the data is not output correctly, of course, because, well, we still have a method set up which extracts it differently. But we see that now we're successfully intercepting all requests we're sending and exchanging the method in case it is a put request.